Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Let's go beyond the basics and look at some of the advanced math that you can do in Spotlight. MACMOST is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 1,000 supporters. Go to MACMOST.com/Patreon. There you could read more about it, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. So you probably already know that you can use Spotlight on your Mac to do math. Just use Command Space to bring up the Spotlight search menu and then type a math equation. So for instance, you can type a simple equation like this and you can get the answer. But you can go far beyond this. First, you can of course use all four major operators. So you could use a dash, use an asterisk for multiplication, and use a slash for division. And then of course you can use these in combination. So for instance, you can do something like this and you'll get a result. And notice that it follows standard rules for operation precedence. So the multiplication is done first. 3 times 5 is 15 and then the addition is done. It doesn't do 2 plus 3 first and then multiply by 5. This gives it a little bit of an advantage over using the standard calculator app or a handheld calculator. But you can go beyond this and actually use parentheses. So for instance, you can do something like this and then in parentheses put a portion of your calculation and you can see how it will obey that. And you can go many levels deep with parentheses like this to make sure it's doing exactly the calculation that you want. And if you do a lot of math, you may know that sometimes multiplication is implied. For instance, if I were to do this on paper, it's implied that it's multiplication between 5 and what's in the parentheses. And you can see Spotlight works that way too. Now let's say you want to do powers. So you want to do 5 squared. You can use the caret symbol, which on US keyboards is Shift 6, and then put your exponent there. So you can square something or cube it or put any exponent like that. You can also use the percent symbol. So for instance, you can type a number like this and then multiply it by, of course, 0.2 to find out 20% of that number. But you could also just type 20 and then the percent symbol, and it will convert this part here, 20%, to 0.2 before doing the calculation. But the percent symbol is also used for modulus, which gives you the remainder of division. So for instance, if I were to put 17 and then percent, that's 17%. But if I were to put another number after it, like 10, then it's going to assume I mean 17 mod 10. So it's going to give me the remainder, 7, after division by 10. You can use logarithms as well, so you can type log like that or ln for the natural log. You can also do the standard exp function as well, which is the same as if you take constant e, which is understood here as long as you include it as part of a calculation, and then you do to the power of 2, and you can see you get the same result. If you ever want to see e by itself, typing e won't get you there, but multiplying by 1 will. You also have got special quick functions for square root like this or cube root like this. But of course you could always just use an exponent and then division inside of parentheses like that to get any root you want. You've got factorial as well. So 2 factorial or 7 factorial. Just put the exclamation point after it. You can also do trigonometry. So for instance, like this, and just put a number in there. Now it's using those numbers as radians. And you can use cosine. You can use tangent. You can also put an a in front of any of those for, say, arctangent. And you could put an h after it for hyperbolic. You have a constant pi that you could use. So you can do, say, sine of pi divided by 2. Just type the letters p and I like that. If you ever want to just get pi by itself, it doesn't work if you just type pi, just like with e, but you can multiply by 1 and then see the result. You can also use degrees. There's 2 ways to do that. One is to put the letter d after the function and then use degrees, so like say 45 degrees. But another way to do it is to type 45 and then deg after it like that. You have some rounding functions as well. So if you type seal and you type a number like this, it will round upwards. If you change that to floor, it will always round down. And if you want it to round to the nearest integer, use RINT like that. And you also have ABS for an absolute value. So it'll take any negative number and make it positive. You also have the standard error function. If you want to know what that is, you can check out the Wikipedia page for it. Now, you may also know that you could do unit conversions in Spotlight. You can combine those with calculations. So you could do something like this. You could say 3 cups, and it's going to tell you it's 1.5 pints, or you could say in liters. And you could also do calculations there. So after 3 cups, I can say multiply by 3. And you could say I'm getting the results in liters, but it's going to give me the results as if this was 9 cups. You can combine units too in ways that make sense. So for instance, if you put 50 mph for miles per hour and you multiply that by 2 hours, you can see you get the result in miles, which makes sense. And you could do it with currency conversion as well. So for instance, I can type 25 euros and it's going to give me the current value in dollars. I can multiply that by 2 and it will say in euros because it assumes I'm doing just a calculation here. But I could still do a conversion and say in USD and it gives me the result in dollars. Now the last thing I want to show you is probably the most useful of all, and that's what you can do when you're done with a calculation. So say you do something like this and you get your result. What do you do with it now? Well, you could just type the result wherever you need it. But you could also, at this point, just do Command C to copy, and it copies the result. Now I can go into another app and do Command V to paste, and I get the result right there. Of course, at this point, I also have to do a little call out to my own free Clip Tools app. If you've gotten that from the App Store, you could select something like this in text. And one of the things that Clip Tools does is allow you to calculate the selection, and then it pastes the result right there with or without the original formula. So if that's something you do a lot, you definitely want to check out Clip Tools in the App Store. Hope you found these Spotlight math tips useful. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.